Okay, picture this. You're not living under a rock, I hope. So, you have heard about the AI arm race between China and US. Some whiz kid in China just dropped an AI model that's supposedly better than OpenAI and everything else that US has cooked up so far. Take that Silicon Valley. Now, if you clicked on this video expecting a juicy comparison of this new model versus OpenAI, hold on your horses. Seriously, click away right now. This isn't that video. We are going down a different rabbit hole called open source licensing. This new model, DeepSeek, is open source, just like Meta's Llama and bunch of others. So, what does this even mean? Is it like sharing your Netflix password but for codes? Let's dive into weird and wonderful world of open source. All right, before we get into open source, we gotta talk about copyright. Copyright? You must be thinking, isn't that like for artists or authors? Why should I, a humble code slinging developer, care about it? Well, because in the eye of law, this novel and your code are the same thing. They both are literary work. Fancy, right? Because both of them have capacity to convey some information to their perceivers. Okay, copyright. It gives me, the creator of even the most basic Hello World program, a bunch of rights. Basically, it screams that this code is mine, which means nobody can use it unless I, the benevolent overlord of this groundbreaking, earth shattering code, give them my permission. But let's be real, who has a time to personally bless every single soul on this earth who wants to use my program? That's where licensing comes into picture. A licensing is like a magic document where I give you my blessing to use my program and conquer the world or do whatever. Now, this blessing can come with a string attached, meaning you can use this, but you have to give me credit, or it can be totally free, no string attached, just pure, unadulterated code love. Okay, so picture this. Ancient philosopher in togas debating the fundamental rights for the software users. Turn out some folks argued that to truly use the software, you should have four fundamental freedoms. Number one, right to run the program. You got to be able to actually use the software. It seems obvious, right? Number two, right to distribute. You should be able to share the software with your friends, your family, your arch nemesis, or whosoever you want to. Number three, right to access to the source code. You got to be able to see the inner working, nitty gritty, and the actual code that makes the software tick. And finally, number four, right to modify. You should be able to change the software, adapt it, make it do whatever you want to do it. So, if the license grant you these four freedoms, bam, that's an open source license. Technically speaking, open source is a software licensing model where the licensor grants you these four crucial freedoms. A nerdy coder friend might put some condition on using this code. Like, hey, you need to tell everyone that I made this. These condition helps us to categorize open source license into two broad categories. Number one, permissive. Number two, copyleft. Let's say you are building an app. Some of the code is yours, let's call it A, and maybe it's totally original. Definitely not copied from Stack Overflow. And some you grab from the GitHub. Well, call it B. So A plus B equals to AB, your awesome application. Now, if B, the GitHub code, start dictating the terms for how you can distribute your final app, AB, or show it off to your friends, then B likely has a copyleft license. They're saying you can use my code, but if you share your application, you have to share your own code too and under the same license. But if B is chill and does not care if you take all the credit and distribute AB as your own masterpiece, then B is probably a permissive license. Think of it in this way. A permissive license is like a cool cousin who lets you do whatever you want to, whereas copyleft is like your noisy neighbor who always up in your business. They're all about sharing and making sure everyone plays fair. Now let's look into some actual open source license, starting with the DeepSeek's license itself. DeepSeek uses the MIT license for its code, which is the coolest cousin in the block, meaning it's a permissive license. Basically, the MIT says you can do almost anything with the DeepSeek code, meaning you can use it, copy it, modify it, merge it with the other code, publish it, distribute it, sublicense it, even sell the copies of it, all completely free. But the catch is you just have to give credit where credit is due. You got to include the original copyright notice and a copy of MIT license text itself. It's just good manners. So, if you're making an application which uses MIT licensed code like DeepSeek, just remember include the copyright notice and the license text with your project, and you're good to go. So, there you have it. We just scratched the surface of this vast universe of open source licensing. If you're interested in diving deeper into this uncharted water of the software protection, or if you're looking to make sure that your software products are legally compliant, then stay tuned for more.